The village huddled in the valley, like a secret best left forgotten. A veil of perpetual fog, thick and grey, smothered everything in its path. Shadow Vale. The name itself whispered on the wind, a sinister warning carried on the breeze. Few dared to speak it aloud, and fewer still dared to venture within its malevolent embrace. The houses, once bright and cheerful, now stood as gaunt sentinels of despair, their paint peeled, their windows like vacant, soulless eyes. The church, its spire swallowed by the oppressive fog, loomed over the village like an accusing finger of doom. Silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the occasional mournful cry of a crow circling overhead, as if mourning the village's fate. Strangers rarely came to Shadow Vale. Those who did, drawn by curiosity or a misguided sense of adventure, seldom stayed long, and some, it was whispered, never left at all. They vanished without a trace, swallowed by the fog and the silence, their fates as uncertain as the shadows that danced at the edge of the woods. Old Man Hemlock, his face a roadmap of wrinkles, claimed the valley held secrets. Dark secrets, best left undisturbed. He spoke of ancient rituals, of a malevolent force that haunted the woods, feeding on the fear of the living. Most dismissed his ramblings as the ramblings of an old man, but a chill always ran down the spine when he spoke. Nightfall brought little respite to Shadow Vale. The fog pressed in closer, suffocating, as if the village itself was sinking beneath a suffocating blanket of despair. Strange lights flickered in the distance, beckoning and retreating like ghostly fireflies. Footsteps echoed on the cobblestones, heavy and measured, yet when one turned to look, there was never anyone there. One by one, the villagers began to disappear. First, it was young Thomas, who wandered into the woods one afternoon and was never seen again. Then it was Mrs. Hawthorne, her knitting needles clattering to the floor, her rocking chair swaying eerily in the empty room. Fear, like the fog itself, seeped into every corner of the village. Section 4. A Glimmer in the Murk. A stranger arrived in Shadow Vale one stormy night. He called himself John, a writer drawn to the village by its isolation and the whispers of its sinister reputation. He paid little heed to the warnings of the remaining villagers, his curiosity outweighing his fear. He sought the truth behind the disappearances, the darkness that clung to Shadow Vale like a shroud. John began to notice strange occurrences. Objects moved on their own. Whispers followed him through the empty streets. He felt a constant presence, watching him, toying with him. One night, he awoke to find a single white rose on his pillow, its petals stained crimson, as if by blood. Section 5. No escape from Shadow Vale. John's investigations led him to the old church, its shadow stretching across the village like a malevolent hand. He entered the building, his footsteps echoing in the musty silence. The air grew heavy, the scent of decay thick in his nostrils. He felt a cold hand on his shoulder, a voice whispering in his ear, "Turn back while you still can." John spun around, his heart pounding in his chest, but there was no one there. He was alone, or was he? The fog seemed to press in on him, the shadows swirling around him, tightening their grip. He realized with a sickening certainty that he was not alone, that he had been drawn here, that he was meant to be the next victim of Shadow Vale. The fog closed in, swallowing John, his scream lost in the silence. Shadow Vale had claimed another victim. The village remained, shrouded in fog and mystery, its secrets safe for now, but for how long? The question lingered in the air, as chilling as the fog itself.